Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be sharing with you a video on how to cut a stylish queen and neckline corset with an asymmetric hemline. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and let's dive right into today's video. So here is my pattern, and I've gone ahead to mark my shoulder to bust, shoulder to under bust, shoulder to waistline, and for my blouse length. So for my blouse length, I added 6 inches to get my blouse length. So you can also use 7 inches or any length of your choice. So the next step I'll take is to mark my shoulder divided by 2, and I will mark my shoulder is 14 inches divided by 2. I have 7 and I'll add half because I'm attaching sleeve to this dress. Come down by 1 inch and I will just go ahead to draw my shoulder slope. So after I'm done marking that, I'll just mark out the line for my basic neckline, which will serve as a guide. So I'll mark my chest line, which is my bust circumference divided by 6 plus 1.5 inches. So on that chest line, I'll mark my shoulder divided by 2 plus half. That is what I have exactly on my shoulder, and I'll draw a straight line to connect. Now I'm going to divide what I have at my shoulder into 2, and I'll come in by half. After that, I'll mark my bust circumference divided by 4. So I'll go ahead and place my curved rule and I will draw out my armhole. So after I'm done doing this, I'll just go ahead and use my marker to outline this to make it more visible for you to see. So next step I'll take from here is to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and my nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5. So after I'm done marking that, I'm just going to go ahead to draw a straight line at that point all the way to the waistline and to the top length. So I'll go ahead and mark my dart intake of 1 inch on both sides, come down by 4 inches, and I will draw my dart, then extend it up and then connect the rest of the dart lines. So this is what I have, and I'm going to connect from my bust to my under bust, and I'll also repeat this on the other side, drawing from my bust to my under bust. And after I'm done doing that, I'm just going to go ahead to use my marker to mark it out to make it more visible for you to see. So after I'm done marking out this part, I'll come up by 1.5 inches, and at that point I'm going to place my ruler and draw a straight line. This will serve as a guide to draw out my cup, and I'll go ahead to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. Now I'll be marking 1 inch dart intake at the upper part. So if you're a plus size, you can use 1.5 inches at both sides of your cup. And after that, I'll just go ahead and blend this in. And from that point also, I'm just going to come down towards my chest line and go down by 0.75, and I will connect my cup to that point. So after I'm done doing that, I'll just go ahead and draw this out and connect my cup to the under bust. For the other side, I'll mark 3.5 inches and add half inch to accommodate my bust, or you can just divide what you have at the armhole. So that 3.5 inch is my nipple to nipple divided by 2 plus half. So after that, I went ahead to connect my cup. So from that basic neckline, I went in by half inch, and I will be marking around 2 inches at this point, and I will connect, or 2.5, and I will connect. So this is what I have for the queen and neckline. So next is to insert my body measurement. But before that, I'll mark 0.25 to get rid of any excess at the yoke. So I'll place my tape, mark my bust circumference divided by 4, replace this dart intake I have on both sides, and add half inch. So you can add more than that when you're sewing your pattern. This is a drafting illustration. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4, replace the dart intake, and add my sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead to mark my waist circumference divided by 4. This dart intake of 2 inch, I'll replace it and add half inch to it. Going over to my top length, I'm going to mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and I'll add half inch at that point. That is the ending part of my pattern paper. And next thing, I'll just go ahead to connect my pattern from the bust down to the waistline and to the top length. So I'll just go ahead and connect my pattern. After connecting it, we are going to go ahead to work on the rest of the pattern. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. So next, I'll be marking my bust dart. So for my bust dart is 1.5 inches. To get your bust dart is the difference between your shoulder to waist at the front and the shoulder to waist at the back. So if you measure it, you notice that the front waistline is a bit longer than what you have at the back. So now I've gone ahead to draw out the bust dart, and next we'll be altering the pattern to have that asymmetric hemline in front of the dress. So I'll place my tape and come down from this point, and I'll just go ahead. So you can use 3 inches, 2.5 or 4. It totally depends on what you want. After blending my darts, I'm just going to go ahead to draw out the curve and just trace out what we have there slightly. So I'll just go ahead. After that, I'll create like another curve on this part, and then I will be extending it to the top length of my dress. So this is what I have after I'm done cutting or marking out. So I'll use my marker to outline this. So at the top of your dress, you notice that there's like a draping on the cup, more like the cup was cut out from this part to give a design, and a fabric was used to drape on top of the cup. So you will use a draping to replace that part of the cup. Next step is to snatch my waistline. So I want to take out 4 inches from my waistline, and to do that 4 inches I will divide it by 4. But before doing that, I will draw out a style line, and dividing it by 4, you have 1 inch, and that 1 inch you're dividing it into 2 on both sides. By the time you mark ½ inch on both sides, you're going to have 1 inch for the front right side of the pattern, and you also repeat it at the left side of the pattern. And if you do that, you'll be having 2 inches removed from the front pattern, and you're also going to repeat this for the back pattern. So after this, I'll just go ahead and cut out my dress. So at this point, if you haven't yet subscribed, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and also join us in our other videos. At the bust dart, I'm going to go ahead and blend it in, and I will pin it before going ahead to cut my pattern. So if you have any question, also leave it at the comment section. And after I was done cutting out, this is what I have for the corset. So if you want a basic way and neckline corset, you're going to leave it this way, but I went ahead to cut out the upper part of the cup, which we will replace with draping. So for the back pattern, I've gone ahead to cut out all my basic measurements, which includes my shoulder to bust and my shoulder to waistline, and then my top length. So for my shoulder to waistline for the back, what I have there is 15.5. My shoulder to waistline in front is 17 inches. We took out a bust dart of 1.5, so making this 15.5. So after that, I went ahead to also add 6 inches for my top length for the back. So next, I'll go ahead to mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2, and that is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5. I'm going to go ahead to mark it all the way from the upper part of the pattern to the lower part. So I'll just go ahead and draw a straight line connecting all those lines. So after that, I'll mark a basic dart of ½ inch on both sides, and I will also go ahead to mark this at the other side, extend my dart all the way to the lower part, and also repeat it here. So after I'm done doing that, the next step is to mark my bust circumference divided by 4 and add my sewing allowance. Mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure the dart intake, replace, and add my sewing allowance. At the top length, mark your hip circumference divided by 4 and add ½ inch. From the bust line or the chest line, I'm going to go ahead to connect all the way to the waistline and take it down to the top length this way. So after I'm done marking this out, I'll just go ahead to use my marker to remark it to make it more visible for you to see. So on the shoulder part, I'll mark my basic neckline of 3 inches, coming by ½ inch just like we did for the front, and I'll just connect this like ½ inch away from the nipple to nipple point at the back. So this is the yoke for the back pattern, and also we are going to take out the bulginess at the back or the excess on the yoke. So I'll be marking 0.5 inches there. Now this is to make the yoke relax. From my chest line, I'm going to come down by ½ inch and I will connect. So I'll just go ahead and make a mark. So after I'm done marking this, I'll just go ahead to mark my lacing bar area. I'll just be using 2 inches, and this is not a standard, and I'll just go ahead to mark this all the way to the lower part. You can use any measurement depending on how open or closed you want your back pattern to be. So after marking that, I'll just go ahead and draw a straight line at this point, and I will outline my pattern. So after doing this, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to snatch my waist, thereby adding another style line and inserting my dart. So just like we did for the front pattern, I'm going to be marking ½ inch on both sides. So by the time you take out this ½ inch on both sides, you have 1 inch, and also repeat it at the other side of the back. You'll be having a total of 2 inches. And with the same 2 inches we have taken out at the front, so with that we have snatched out 4 inches from our initial waistline. So I'll just go ahead and use my marker and mark this all the way down, and also extend this down. So this is what I have after I'm done marking it, and I'll use my marker to outline this part of my pattern. And this is what the back pattern looks like. Now I didn't get a clear picture of what the lacing bar area or the back pattern looks like, but with the design we have in front, I'm just going to go ahead to create one for myself. So from the back length, so I'll just go up a bit and I'll just create like a stylish effect all the way to the back or to the side. So you can come up like 3 inches or 2.5 and do that. So after this, I'll just go ahead to cut out the rest of my pattern, and I'll also number it. So with this, we have come to the end of today's tutorial. Please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, leave your comment at the comment section, and if you have any question regarding this tutorial, also leave it at the comment section. So I'll just go ahead and cut out all my darts, and with that we have come to the end of today's tutorial. See you in our next video. Thanks.